Well, good evening, everyone. It's like class. Welcome to the 2025 Weatherhead Hall of Fame Awards ceremony. My name is Kevin Smith, and I have a script in front of me. This is going to be a good night. And I am the Associate Dean for External Relations here at the Weatherhead School of Management here at Case Western Reserve University, and I get the honor of being the MC for tonight's evening. So thank you very much for being with us. I know that little countdown to get you in your seats is something that many of you are going to borrow and steal, so thank you, Brian, for putting that in there. It's my honor to welcome you to the celebration as we recognize this year's class of the Weatherhead Hall of Fame nominees. Tonight we gather to recognize the remarkable achievements of our most distinguished alumni honorees who have made momentous contributions to their industries, their communities, I lost my spot. Their communities, the Weatherhead School of Management, and the Case Western Reserve University. These individuals exemplify the values and spirit of our institution, and we are proud to honor them. One key point I want to make is the shaping of the school, the shaping of the singular place, and the shaping of our university is brought forth by people that do these momentous things from all walks of life for various reasons. So as you listen to the stories tonight, I invite you to think about how these folks shaped who we are as a people, as a community, and as an institution, because these folks are why we're here. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a handful of special guests who joined us this evening. Recognizing special guests in a room of special people is certainly a challenge. So I'll refer to those people as our special guests. Please join me in welcoming our special guests, and no need to stand up or applause, but Vice President Jason Gray, the Dean of the Weatherhead School of Management, Andrew Medvedev, Weatherhead Visiting Committee leaders who are joining us tonight is President Jennifer Allstat, Alumni Advisory Council leaders with us tonight includes President Jeff Rockwell, and all of our honorees and their guests, especially to the guests who made the trip from wherever you may have come from, who are joining this evening. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Welcome our special guests. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome, thank you, that's worthy of a round of applause for sure. Now I'd like to introduce the Dean of the Weatherhead School of Management, Andrew Medvedev.
Good work. Thank you, Kevin, and good evening, and welcome to Weatherhead's Oscars. I got to tell you, I think we're going to have more fun than the actual Oscars. I think the jokes will be better, and certainly the post-event media scrutiny will be more mild. It's such a privilege to stand before you as the Dean of the school to welcome you to our second annual Weatherhead Hall of Fame event. There's a lot of places we could all be tonight, but there's a reason that people are drawn back to this place. And the fact that we are a community of 25,000 strong worldwide that managed to attract, cultivate, and produce the individuals that are honored here tonight is no accident. Our honorees are recognized as innovative change agents, thought leaders, and accomplished executives in their fields. But that's just the start, right? We're really not celebrating resumes tonight. I think we're celebrating values. And it's what these individuals have done for society, for their enterprises, for their communities, and how they've actually made change possible. You know, for all the ambition and clever ideas, right, it's what you do with it that really matters at the end of the day. We went through a big process earlier this year with the school. We've wrestled quite a bit with how do we formalize this Weatherhead spirit? How do we chart a specific course for our next chapter? And we actually went through that effort of mission, vision, and values that I think has resulted in a North Star. And one of those big things was, what are we actually doing here as a question? And at the end of the day, we're not in the business of certifying excellence in a particular discipline or creating folks that can memorize the entire canon of scholarship. We're producing individuals that can turn intention into outcome repeatedly amidst complexity and chaos. That's it. And that is what drives the evolution of the world. That's what drives positive change in society. When you look back as honorees or as individuals at the moments of achievement, it's that ability to do the thing that everyone else talks about, to put the team on your back and to run through that wall and get it done is what separates us. And I think that ability to do that for yourself, for your community, for your family, for society is what the school has stood for. and will continue to stand for. So tonight, I want all of us to think about the things that made this possible. So here's to grit, without which the best ideas are rendered absolutely useless by this countless hurdle and of an obstacle course that we know is a leadership journey. Here's to the pursuit of excellence and not being satisfied with anything less than your personal best, as I know you all have. To ingenuity, to that ability to ask why not in a world that constantly pushes you to ask why, right? And here's to community, remembering that it's that all-powerful source that sustains us in our toughest moments and gives us the energy to do everything that we came here to do. I think it's empowered by these values that this class has left its mark on the world. And I may be biased, but I don't think it's a coincidence that all these individuals have spent a meaningful part of their lives and found their rooting and community in a wonderful place called Case Western Reserve University that I'm certainly a super proud citizen of. So as we celebrate these achievements, I hope we're also inspired by their examples, and we think of what that can position us to do in our own lives and careers. What kind of impact we can have on the world, on our enterprise, on the person next to us, or really just ourselves. Our fellow inductees, congratulations. We're so proud of you. We welcome you back home, and we can't wait to celebrate you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And now, without further ado, getting right into it, it's time to introduce our esteemed honorees. Each of these individuals have made a lasting impression in their respective fields and have brought distinction to the Weatherhead School of Management. I will first begin by introducing their names and reading a brief bio. This is like the part on the airplane where I'm going to tell you where the aisles are and what to do. So this is how we'll do this, the rest of this tonight. First, I'll read the names of the brief bio. Honorees should remain in their seats at this time. After introductions are read, we will cue the video. When the videos end, I will invite them to the front of the room, my right, your left, to receive engraved awards from Brian Breitholtz, and then to be congratulated and photographed by Dean Medvedev, who you've met. Got it? Make sense? Good? All right. Here we go.
When I first heard about being nominated to be in the Hall of Fame,
I assumed somebody was having fun with me.
I'm incredibly surprised, utterly shocked.
I'm honored. I'm humbled by it.
The first thing that I feel when I think about this honor is gratitude and recognitions of all the giants on whose shoulders I stand.
It's an amazing group of people.
It's not work at all. I'm making a difference. That's what I love.
I know the education that I received at Case made a difference in my life.
This is the school that keeps my heart warm and to which I come back again and again.
So there we go. And with that introduction, I'd like to introduce our first honoree tonight. Our first honoree is Himanshu Amin, a trailblazer in patent law and beyond. Himanshu, or Ham as we know to his friends, is the founder and managing partner of Amin, Tarosi and Watson LLP, where he established one of the largest electrical computer science patent groups in the nation. His firm is highly sought after by Fortune 100 and 500 companies for its expertise in complex electrical and computer patent matters. Himanshu is renowned for conducting forward patenting sessions with senior executives and top researchers, bolstering patent portfolios for over 20 high-tech Fortune 500 clients. Beyond law, he is a fractional owner of the Hopper House in Cleveland, the IOIO Medical Spa, advises Resilience Capital Partners, and manages Gamete Ventures, an early-stage technical fund. His academic contributions including serving as an adjunct professor at Case Western Reserve Law School, teaching strategic intellectual property management and advanced patent preparation. Ham's accolades include being listed as a Super Lawyers magazine. He serves on the board of trustees for Playhouse Square and is an active Weatherhead School and in the visiting committee and serves on several corporate boards. His career began as a design engineer at a multinational engineering firm, laying the foundation for his future success in intellectual property law. At one point, Ham even told me, he said, you know, I'm a lawyer, But the reason I became successful because I'm a business lawyer. I'm a lawyer who acted as a businessman first. And I'll never forget that. So please roll the video.
After graduating, I was employed at top 10 architectural engineering firms in the country, Morrison Knudsen, located in Cleveland. Engineers actually do really well coming right out of undergrad, but then I noticed the gentlemen sitting on the floor with me, 20 years experience, were not making much more. That served as the inspiration to go to Weatherhead. Warren Buffett coming in to one of our classes, he said that the best place for him to recruit was at the mall with shoe salespersons. If you can sell people shoes and deal with their smelly feet all day long, them sending you back and forth with 12 different boxes of shoes and having the patience, then you can sell anything. Went on to concurrently get my law degree at Case as well. The law firm I initially started at, when I told the partners I'm going to start my own law firm, they were almost chuckling. That was just unheard of for somebody 4 years out of law school. A week later, when $2 million worth of work followed me out the door, it kind of sent shockwaves throughout the whole Cleveland legal community. I'm the managing partner of Amin, Watson. We're an intellectual property law firm. I was very tech savvy and was able to not try to compete in Cleveland. I went to where the big fish were running, which is Silicon Valley. Was able to leverage email at that time, which was new. These clients were all very tech savvy as well. I was able to convince them, I can handle most of the things on the phone, but if you need me in person, I can be there tomorrow. We go for the high margin work, which is the patent. The entry barriers are very high. Any lawyer can practice copyright or trademark law, but for patent law, you need to have a second bar exam, fairly rigorous, as well as an engineering or hard science degree. There's a premium paid for those attorneys. There's just a lot of activity, especially in the area that we do work in, which is digital, wireless, robotics, automation, autonomous vehicles, quantum computing. What differentiates us, even among patent firms, is we have the best of the best. I used to meet with Bill Gates every 2 months. We represented Microsoft, Qualcomm, IBM, Rockwell, Toshiba, Honda. We'd always ask for the hardest work. For example, quantum computing is mind-numbingly hard. So it requires a really good electrical engineer. Because not many people can do it, that made us really valuable. My law firm just grew in a few years. Near the peak of 65 attorneys, 120 people worldwide. We pay our attorneys more, but it's a variable cost model. So what we do is we pay them a percentage of billings or collections. So they're sharing in the risk, but they get much more than they would make at a traditional law firm. And the more they work, the more they make. We're fine with someone working part-time because it allowed attorneys that were single parents to stay home with their children, adopting the latest and greatest technology. We used to have a very large docketing team with almost a dozen people. We had thousands of files and people inputting data. We were an early adopter of this AI tool that would just scrub the patent office's database and auto-populate our docketing software. It saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was Weatherhead that really gave me the courage and the skill set to make all that happen. My children went to Hawken, really did right by my family and my children. I was on that board for close to 20 years. Thanks to my wife for putting up with me and being strong enough to take all the risks that we have over the years financially to start a business. Thanks for my kids for tolerating me not being home for many times when I used to travel a lot. Thanks to the amazing professors that really taught me a lot of life lessons that I still carry to this day. It's such a wonderful community. I'm really thankful to be part of it.
Please join me in congratulating Himanshu Amin. This is your time to come. Now, Himanshu is a very strong man. I will tell you that those are awards for the next, anyone else will receive an award tonight, those are very heavy. They're deceivingly very heavy awards, probably close to 20 pounds. So just to let you know, he made that look very easy. We now recognize someone who needs no introduction at the Weatherhead School of Management, Scott S. Cowen, a visionary leader in higher education. Dr. Cowen, President Emeritus of Tulane University and former Dean of the Weatherhead School of Management, is celebrated for his transformative impact on academia and community development. Currently a distinguished presidential visiting professor at Case, Scott's career began with significant contributions as one of the youngest deans at the Weatherhead School. Here, he launched innovative programs and oversaw the construction of the Peter B. Lewis Building and enhanced the school's reputation in global business education through practical, partnership-driven learning. As Tulane University's 14th president from 1998 to 2014, Scott steered the institution through the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, integrating public service into his curriculum and revitalizing New Orleans' education and healthcare systems. His leadership during the crisis earned him recognition as one of Time Magazine's top college presidents. Scott also served as interim president of Case Western Reserve during COVID-19 pandemic. Together with Hurricane Katrina and the COVID-19 pandemic, he is truly the master of disaster. Guiding this university with resilience and strategic communication. A prolific author, his works on leadership and urban transformation include books like Lead and Succeed, Winnebagos on Wednesdays, and The Inevitable City. Honored by the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the Carnegie Corporation, Scott Cowen's legacy of innovation, leadership, and service continues to inspire future generations. Please roll the video.
I wasn't really sure once I had gotten my degree what I wanted to be. I was teaching in Pennsylvania, and then the dean of the school there came to me and said, you know, Scott, it's time for you to leave. And I said, well, I don't understand. Why? He said, you know, you need to be with a major research university. You're wasting your time here. With that in mind, a couple other schools asked me. Case Western Reserve was one of them. And then what happened was the dean at that time asked me if I would be vice dean. And I said, okay, but I don't really know what to do. He said, well, I'll teach you how to do it. And then all of a sudden, the dean here was going to retire. The faculty here said, we want Scott to be that person. And I came in to be the youngest dean ever here. And Al Weatherhead I knew well. When I was here, the dean at that time asked me to work with Al, and we became really good friends, and he was an unbelievable mentor to me. Believed on me at a time where I was just a little guy, and they let me do it. I was sort of a crazy guy. I was young and crazy and doing all kinds of things, and then Richard was there, and there was a whole bunch of us, about 4 or 5 of us, got together, and we just started doing stuff. Doing things about classes and different kinds of things that they could get. David Kolb, Richard, and me. The 3 of us wrote a book back then about what a business school should do. And then we changed the school based on that book. And all of a sudden the rankings were going up. People wanted to be here. It was so much fun. We changed a lot of the things here, and especially to take the school from where it was on the campus over to where it is now. I went to the president and he said, listen, if you can get the money and you can do this, you can do it. I went to Peter Lewis and he said, well, I'll give you the money, but I want Frank Gehry to do it. I said, who's Frank Gehry? He said, he's famous all over the world. We're going there and I'm going to introduce you to him. And we talked to him and I'm saying, oh my God, this guy's unbelievable. So we did the building and that was great. I thought it was very weird, but that's what he does. And I was hoping because of it, people around here would come and want to just see that because he was one of the greatest in the world. During the process of all of this, Celia asked me whether I would put my name into being president of Tulane University. And then I left and went to Tulane University, where I spent 16 years. Loved every minute of it. It took me a couple years to really understand, Tulane and understand New Orleans. But then came the hurricane, ruined the city, ruined the university, and it looked like everything was just going to die. I said to myself, there must be something here. I got the board. I said, listen, We've got a lot of problems to deal with, with the buildings and everything else, but we also need to help New Orleans, not just us. The mayor asked me to head up a committee about the schools. Then someone had an idea to say, well, let's have an institute that works with the schools to make them better. One of our board members, she said, I'll give you the money, but it has to be called the Cowen Institute. And the whole purpose of that institute was to increase the quality of public education in New Orleans. It was more, not just Tulane University, it was the city. When COVID came, Fred called me and said, listen, will you come and be interim president? I was getting older and I figured, I'll do the interim, but that's about it. When that was finished, then the question was, well, will you come back to the school? I said, okay, I'll come back, I'll teach my class, and I'll help Andrew in any way he wants me to help him. To be in the Hall of Fame, you have to love the school. You have had to help this school, and that you're willing to do it the rest of your life. We're here to make this continue to go up, 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 up. And if we don't do that, in my case, if it doesn't help, then I didn't do my job. I'm glad I'm back here today, because at the ending of my retirement, which is going to be in another year or so, I'd like to take it off here because I love this institution.
Please join me in recognizing Dr. Scott Cowen. Scott, if you'd please join the current Dean of the Weatherhead School of Management to receive your award. Next is a difficult one for all of us. We now like to celebrate the legacy and leadership and achievement of Michael Gibbons, known to all of us as Mike. The late Michael Gibbons, as distinguished alumnus of the Weatherhead School and Cleveland State's College of Law, left a profound impact as a corporate attorney, entrepreneur, and community leader. His illustrious career began as a bonds trader at McDonald & Company, where he quickly rose to leadership roles. Mike went on to become Executive Vice President and CEO of Underworth Newhouse & Company, showcasing exceptional leadership skills. In 1989, he founded Brown, Gibbons, Lang & Company, one of the largest middle-market investment banks in the U.S., and established BGL Real Estate Advisors, managing a significant private investment portfolio. His legal and business expertise earned him accolades and the best lawyers in America. Mike's contributions extended beyond business. He was a managing partner and co-owner of the Cleveland Crunch, held board positions in several organizations, and was an active on the Weatherhead's visiting committee. His commitment to public service inspired his U.S. Senate runs for Ohio, driven by his son Ryan's military service. Known for his integrity and dedication, Mike's greatest pride was his family. His enduring legacy continues to inspire those who knew him and benefited from his contributions. Mike was actually selected for the Hall of Fame before regrettably passing away, and before we had the opportunity to present him and let him know about this award. We will accept this award on his behalf, give his family the appropriate time to grieve, and present him in a private ceremony to him and his family, but we could not recognize him tonight, as difficult as it is. In the meantime, please let's give a round of applause, a moment of silence, and contributions for Mike Gibbons. And I'll take one more moment just in honor of Mike. Thank you. Our next recipient is Cleveland native Larry Goldrick Sr., who built an illustrious career over 6 decades, marked by leadership, innovation, and dedication to mentoring our students. Larry's professional journey began at Reliance Electric in 1959, where he was a pioneer in using computers for engineering analysis, significantly advancing industrial electric motor development. At White Motor Company, Larry further cemented his reputation by integrating computer technology into stress analysis and drivetrain design. His career spans roles in computer programming, design, recruiting, purchasing, supply chain, and logistics, highlighting his adaptability and expertise. Notably, he spent 16 years as a consultant at Kimball Midwest, driving strategic planning and launching a chemical division before retiring in 2016. Post-retirement, Larry continued his commitment to mentorship and community service. Through SCORE, he provides critical support to small businesses. His volunteer work includes contributions to International Refugee Center and the Great Lakes Science Center, as well as impactful mentorship with Weatherhead students. His dedication led to the creation of the Larry Goldrick Senior Scholarship in 2014, benefiting over 25 students in supply chain and data analytics. With a Bachelor of Science from Wayne State and an MBA from Weatherhead School of Management, Larry remains an active force in mentoring and community service, leaving a lasting legacy in both professional and personal spheres. Please roll the video.
My initial goal out of high school was engineering. My father had been an engineer, and so I got an opportunity to see how engineering departments work and what goes on. Ultimately, I went to Purdue for a year and studied engineering, decided I liked math better, so I went to Western Reserve University for a year and studied math. And then after that, I decided I wanted to work and go to night school. I was just looking for a job, and somehow I found that job at Reliance Electric, and it turned out that, they were doing some pretty advanced stuff. Reliance Electric had a big computer center in Euclid. We were doing remote transmission of data to that computer, which would do all the computation and then send the results back to us. A customer could just send a request in, and in a matter of 2 or 3 hours, we could actually design it, figure out, estimate what the cost was going to be. And that kind of got me hooked on the computer thing. So then I got laid off, so that's when I migrated from that and went to White Motor Company, worked in the engineering department, and I worked there for 4 years. So I had engineering experience on a computer. I wanted to get commercial skills, so I moved to Detroit and worked for Honeywell. There I got into inventory management and purchasing and supply chain. From then forward, almost all the things I did subsequently were around supply chain, purchasing, logistics. Education has been a big part of my life because, as I indicated earlier, I went full-time 2 years, and after that I did night school and worked full-time. I really had kind of a leg up on other people in terms of staying up to date on the technology. I had some fantastic teachers at Weatherhead. They had a couple of classes where they had like local presidents or vice presidents of companies that would come in and tell about their career and how they got to where they were. And that was really meaningful to me. One of the people that came to one of our classes was actually Peter B. Lewis. And he walked in on a cowboy outfit with a cowboy hat on and gave us his spiel about how he got where he was. He was an interesting guy. In my last job at Kimball, the last 6 years, I was able to gradually stop working, and I realized that I was going to have a lot of time on my hands, and I was looking for things to do. I contacted Weatherhead and got involved with them, and I got a lot of students that I mentored. Most of them were international students, so most of them had never been in the U.S. before, let alone Cleveland, so I was kind of like an American dad to these students. And I enjoyed that a lot, so that's when I got more involved at Weatherhead. It's been very rewarding for me. I've developed a lot of relationships. I probably mentored over the last 15 years over 100 students, and many of them I still have a relationship with. When I first heard about being nominated to be in the Hall of Fame, I was really very surprised and humbled. I'm very honored to be among the 2025 Hall of Fame nominees. I thank Weatherhead and the people that have nominated me and voted for me, and I hope that this inspires other people to achieve this award by doing good things for humanity.
the spirit of why we do this, please join me and welcome me, Larry Goldrick. Please join us in receiving your reward. Our next recipient, Ramona Hood, a distinguished business executive and strategic innovation expert, made history as the first African-American CEO of FedEx operating company FedEx Custom Critical. Her journey from Akron, Ohio to a top leadership position exemplifies her dedication and visionary approach. Rising from an entry-level position, she built resilient, diverse teams and became a trusted advisor to boards and executives globally. Now focused on community engagement and empowerment, Ramona serves as a leadership advisor and speaker. As a founder and president of Athonia, she emphasizes operational excellence and strategic growth. Her mission is to foster innovation, streamline processes, and cultivate cultures of continuous improvement for individuals and organizations. Ramona's leadership and commitment to equity have earned her features in Forbes, CNBC, and more, highlighting her transformative impact. She actively serves on boards including Brick International, the Knight Foundation, Summa Health, and the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, where she champions equity and amplifies organizational influence. Ramona continues to inspire others by fostering an abundant mindset and purposeful action, aiming to build a legacy of leadership and community empowerment. Please roll the video.
My work experience is what I would consider a non-traditional pathway. I was a 19-year-old mother, and I started with a company called Roberts Express as the receptionist, also knowing that later on I would go to continue my education. The company was acquired by FedEx and rebranded FedEx Custom Critical. And I met my first mentor who really asked me to put thought into what I would want to do long-term. From that point on, I became pretty intentional with my career. After my undergrad at Walsh University, I thought it was important to continue my education based on what my career goals were. I wanted to do an executive MBA. I was in the workforce and had been for quite a time. And I wanted a program that could accommodate the work pressures that I had at that point in time. And CASE provided all of those things. I knew the way the cohort was set up, it was an opportunity that I would begin and end with the same students, and then the study teams would have flexibility. I think my untraditional pathway really allowed me to bring together this fabric of experience as well as practical and theory all together. At that point, I had a lot of practical experience where I could understand the problems were consistent across other organizations, but the way to tackle them may be slightly different. And I felt it really created this richness of experience I had that I could build on also. I blinked and it was time to graduate. And what came from that was really a great education, great relationships where I continue to stay in touch with not only people from the class itself, but my study group, which we've named ourselves WSOM. After I received my executive MBA, I continued to move up. My last and final role being president and CEO of FedEx Custom Critical, and served from 2020 to 2024, being the first African-American president in the history of the FedEx Corporation. I never really sat with what it meant. When I signed my acceptance letter, I called my two daughters to let them know it was official. And my oldest daughter said to me, "Mom, did you just break the glass ceiling?" And it was that moment that I realized that it was a responsibility, not just an accomplishment. What made it really unique is that first 90 days of going into COVID, we began to lean into our capabilities around quality assurance in the biopharma space. And as organizations began to manufacture the COVID vaccine, we were moving active ingredients, and we knew the importance of it. When there was the emergency authorized usage of a finished COVID-19 vaccine, we were the first truck to be able to pick it up and start the dissemination in the U.S. And so it really was a bookmark of the year 2020 of uncertainty to really doing what we know we do and being proud of the work that we did as well. The idea of being a Hall of Famer for Case, I'm honored, I'm humbled by it. I really have not sat with it. What I will say is I know the education that I received at Case made a difference in my life and in my career journey. And so I probably just want to say thank you to the individuals that were in my class, as well as the Case University as a whole for having such an outstanding program. There's a few individuals, some may be here, some may not, that I would be remiss if I didn't call them out by name to thank them. Certainly my daughters, Mariah and Kayla, as well as Virginia Adicott, the great sponsor for me and mentor, family and friends throughout my career, supporting me. I'd just like to say thank you for all that you do for me and the ongoing support that you give me.
Please join me in congratulating Ramona Hood. Next, we have Matthew Jones, a managing director at Morgan Stanley and head of E-Trade for Morgan Stanley, leads the firm's direct digital business, bridging technology with personalized financial advice. Since joining Morgan Stanley in 2008, Matt has held key roles including head of wealth management strategy, driving analytics initiatives, and playing a pivotal part in the acquisitions of Solium and E-Trade. Matt plays a central role in shaping how one of the world's leading financial institutions engages with millions of investors in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. A Cleveland area native and Case Western Reserve alumnus, Matt was inspired by professors and peers at the Weatherhead School of Management. His leadership is characterized by purposeful innovation, integrated data-driven decision-making with a focus on personal and community development. Matt's leadership philosophy is rooted in purposeful innovation, combining data with a deep commitment to developing people and communities. Active in his Brooklyn community, Matt supports civic engagement and education alongside his wife, Amanda, who leads a youth service nonprofit. Together, they are dedicated to empowering the next generation to lead and create positive local impact. Please join me in congratulating Matt Jones. Dr. Rodney Rogers, president of Bowling Green State University since 2018, drives the university's strategic initiatives as its first alumnus president. Under his leadership, BG launched transformative growth plans such as the Forward Initiative, enhancing its role as a 21st century public university. While president, Rogers expanded academic offerings, particularly in healthcare and STEM, and established unique programs like the Cedar Fair Resort and Attraction Management Program. Rodney introduced the Life Design Initiative, empowering students through design thinking. His leadership in fundraising secured Bowling Green's largest philanthropic gifts, resulting in record enrollments and academic milestones. The university's largest fundraising campaign, Changing Lives to the World, raised over $255 million. Previously, Rodney served as provost and dean of the Schmidt-Horst College of Business at Bowling Green, with a diverse academic background, including a PhD from right here. No more Bowling Green stuff, right here. He has extensive teaching and consulting experience with global organizations. His influence continues to shape Bowling Green's national profile and commitment to academic excellence and community engagement. As a member of the state of Ohio, we're all proud to see our state universities thrive. Bowling Green is no exception to that. They are thriving under Rodney's leadership. So we're really happy to recognize Rodney Rogers into our Hall of Fame, and please roll the video.
I was a music major in my undergrad, and my dad said, "What do you want to do with a music degree?" So he said, "You should think about accounting." So I picked up some accounting classes, and one thing leads to another, become a CPA, work in industry for a little bit. I was doing some teaching at another university and kind of realized, if I'm serious about a career in higher ed, I need to get a PhD. And that led me to Case Western Reserve University. I've always appreciated the innovation that goes on within the Weatherhead School. Scott Cowen, who I'm humbled to be in the class with, his leadership and certainly subsequently the faculty and staff of Weatherhead, always thinking about innovation, always thinking about how do we get better. I so appreciate that I had an opportunity to be at a university where the students were empowered to almost develop their own course of study a bit. When I went out and started working with colleagues who had PhDs from other institutions, what I noticed is I had a much broader education, a broader perspective, which I think benefited me, not only in the research I was doing and the teaching I did, but ultimately in some of the leadership roles that I've been fortunate to have. Coming out of Case Western Reserve and the Weatherhead School with a PhD, I accepted an assistant professor position at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon. That was a great experience. Came up through the ranks, and the dean came into my office one day and said, "Hey, have you thought about ever being an associate dean?" And I said, "If I can help out, sure." So I did that role, and that leads to an opportunity as Dean of Business here at Bowling Green. And they said, how about trying the provost job? So then I had an opportunity to be the provost here for my predecessor for about 6 years. And then when she retired, the board asked if I'd be willing to serve as president. So I'm 8 years into the job. We have been very fortunate to have had some great successes here. I want to start by always saying it's a team of people working together. I've been very fortunate to have amazing colleagues here at this institution who have shared vision. We've had record-setting enrollment, largest freshman class in the history of the university 2 years in a row now, as well as academic profile is the strongest it's ever been. Whether it be a dean, provost, or a president, always be understanding that you are constantly learning and you are constantly with a growth mindset. Thinking about the rippling impact that has shows the power of higher education and how higher ed has driven the success of this country. Knowing the individuals that have come out of Weatherhead, I'm very humbled to even be considered. The individuals that are on that list with me, it's an amazing group of people, and I certainly want them to know that I'm very proud to be in this class with them, but they have accomplished amazing things, and there again, it shows the power of education. I want to make sure I acknowledge professors at Case Western Reserve in the Weatherhead School. Professors really pushed me to think creatively and broadly and critically. Of course, when I went back a little later in life to do the PhD at Case Western Reserve, my wife, she was the one that worked full-time over at Mount Sinai, and she helped me get through, so my wife, Sandy Earle, played a key role in all of this. I want to end by just saying what I always found at Weatherhead was a place where you could push the boundaries. You could be creative, you could be innovative, you could try new things and push the boundaries of knowledge. I found a very supportive community for that.
President Rogers could not be with us tonight due to a leadership board weekend at Bowling Green, but he sends his appreciation and deep regrets. We will present him the award in the coming weeks, but please join me again in recognizing President Rodney Rogers. Next, we recognize Celia Scott Weatherhead and her late husband, Al Weatherhead. They are esteemed philanthropists known for their visionary contributions to education, health, and business innovation. Celia, who is a dedicated philanthropist and community leader, earned her undergraduate degree in theater and a Master of Education. As president of the Weatherhead and Albert J. Weatherhead III Foundation, she promotes access, excellence, and impact, while also pursuing her passion for breeding and training Italian greyhounds. Al Weatherhead, a Harvard graduate and war veteran, was a pioneering business executive who transformed WeatherChem Corporation into a leading manufacturer. Known for his inventiveness and business acumen, he held several patents. Al passed away in 2011, leaving a profound legacy of innovation and generosity. The Weatherhead's philanthropic vision is characterized by accountability and creative mission-driven funding. Their connection to Case Western Reserve led to the naming of the Weatherhead School of Management and the iconic Peter B. Lewis Building. Recently, Celia Weatherhead pledged a sizable gift to establish the Celia Scott Weatherhead Leadership Institute, focusing on experiential and ethical leadership development among all Case Western Reserve University students. Celia and Al Weatherhead exemplified service and transformative impact, uplifting institutions and individuals through their enduring commitment to making the world a better place. Although Celia could not be with us this evening, please join me in a round of applause recognizing her and Al as Hall of Fame inductees. We cannot imagine a Hall of Fame without them. And last, but certainly not least, Dr. Nadya Zhexembayeva. Did I get that right? A global authority on reinvention and resilience, is acclaimed as the reinvention guru and also the queen of reinvention. We are in the presence of royalty. Nadya guides prominent companies like Coca-Cola, IBM, Cisco in reinventing their business models and leadership practices to thrive amid disruption. A former Coca-Cola chaired professor of sustainable development, she has taught at prestigious institutions including the Weatherhead School of Management and others in Mexico and in France. A sought-after speaker, Nadya has delivered keynotes at over 150 global events, including TED Talks, reaching diverse audiences through engaging, research-driven sessions. Her work has influenced executives from over 60 countries and has been featured in top publications such as Harvard Business Review and Forbes. She is the author of award-winning books like Overfished Ocean Strategy and Embedded Sustainability, with her latest, The Chief Reinvention Officer Handbook, earning high acclaim. Holding a PhD in organizational behavior from Case Western Reserve, Nadya has significantly contributed to executive education and corporate reinvention, impacting over 1 million people across various industries. Please roll the video.
I was born in the Soviet Union, a part called Kazakhstan. The way Soviet Union works, you had no career goals in high school. Soviet Union shipped you from school to university if you went to one, and from there a job is assigned to you. You cannot not choose that work because being unemployed is illegal and you will go to jail. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991 overnight. There was no vote, no referendum. Like all of my countrymen, I woke up one day and there was no government, no police, no ministries, no healthcare, no education, and no currency. Kazakhstan was so unprepared for the collapse, it took us over 2 years to develop our own currency. Suddenly, we had scholarship opportunities. There's a very famous scholarship called Freedom Support Act that selected me to represent Kazakhstan. I then went to an amazing liberal arts school in upstate New York, Hartwick College. I wanted to understand why systems collapse, why one country goes through disruption and is able to reinvent, while another country disappears overnight. Education is what made the most difference in my life. Hartwick College, having amazing professors who convinced me that my job is not waiting for me on Wall Street, that I'm much better fit for scientific career and life and education later on. And they handpicked Case Western Reserve's Weatherhead School of Management as a place for me to apply. 2 weeks after I started my doctorate, 9/11 happened. And I vividly remember the first night our department came together after the horrible attack. We asked ourselves, how does business and education contribute to the world where this cannot happen again? business as an agent overall benefit was born. The idea that you don't need to choose between profitability and regenerative sustainability, you kind of put it together and create massive, massive innovation on the ground in your product, in your processes, in your business models. I am co-founder and chief reinvention officer of Reinvention Academy. We teach corporate professionals and independents how to reinvent in the middle of massive disruption. We also provide consulting services and host our own Reinvention Summit. I have a luxury of teaching in executive education. I have a luxury of teaching in continuous education. So you see what happens to a person when you meet them relatively young in their career and how they evolve and become CEOs, board members, founders of new businesses. Weatherhead School of Management. This is the school that keeps my heart warm. Met my husband there. He was finishing up his MBA. My daughter was born right on campus at University Hospitals. I've been a member of the advisory board for the Center for Business's Agent Overall Benefit for over 15 years. This Hall of Fame is a massive honor. I think about who brought me here. I think of one of my grandparents. He was a dissident in his own right, a journalist, wrote against the regime, jailed, tortured, and in prison. I never met my grandfather. I am his dream, sitting in Ohio, getting an award. He did everything he could to make sure that I'm here. So did family members, friends, and of course my faculty. Professor Ron Fry, David Cooperrider, Priest Inquiry. He's been a driver of my work for the longest time. Richard Bayatis, a luminary in the emotional intelligence field. David Cope, Diana Billimoria, her work on women leadership and beyond. Every single name, years and years of investment into my development, my dreams of what to come. The first thing that I feel when I think about this honor is gratitude and recognitions of all the giants on whose shoulders I stand.
Please join me in congratulating Dr. Nadya Zhexembayeva. At this time, I would just like to take one more moment to please allow us to just recognize all of our recipients just one last time. If anyone, all of our honorees, please stand up one last time so we may recognize each and every one of you. Thank you for shaping our school. Thank you for providing the guiding beacon for what our students strive and try to be. And you are the beacon for what we hope all of our students, when they see you tonight, when our faculty, our staff, our community members look and figure out who is Weatherhead, we look to our alumni, we look to our predecessors, because you are who we are. So I would really like to thank you all and for everything you've done for us, and remark on what an incredible evening it's been. We have so much to be proud of, all the things that we have to celebrate tonight. And I look around the room and I take account of these great videos and I hear the stories, which are deeply moving. I think we could all agree upon that. And the one common thread across all of these things, as we listen to each and every story from a student coming from one place or the other with a different set of circumstances, a background, seeking whatever a student might be seeking at the age that they come to a school, the one common thread that changes, that makes everything that just gel for us is our faculty. And I'd just like to take a moment to think about the reason our alumni become who they are. The reason our students become successful is because of our faculty. They spend 30, 40 years of their lives. In some cases, we've heard some people that have been around quite a while that are still teaching here decade after decade. They've shaped the school, they've made the school. If you are a faculty member at the Weatherhead School of Management, please stand up so we may recognize you for creating the Hall of Fame. There is no Hall of Fame without you. Thank you. Thank you for your service and thank you for inspiration. That's not in the script. I just wanted to, that needs to be said. The accomplishments of this year's class of Weatherhead Hall of Fame honorees are extraordinary. We hope their examples further inspire all of us, including our current students, to reach higher, impacting greater numbers of people locally, nationally, and all around the world. Now, a few housekeeping announcements before we end this evening. On the last page of your printed program, we highlight several people who are so helpful in planning and implementing the Hall of Fame. Please join me in giving them a round of applause and a special shout out to our events director, Nikki Anderson. Thank you, Nikki. It's always wonderful, always well done. Our photographer, who will remain with us for the next 15 minutes if you wish to have some photos taken of you and your special ones. It's not in the script because he wrote it, but I'd like to thank Mr. Brian Breitholtz, who's our executive director for all of our alumni, for his vision in making these possible. These are meaningful events, and somehow he finds a way to make an extraordinarily meaningful, wonderful evening, and all in 59 minutes. So thank you, Brian. Really well done. Nominations for the next class of the Hall of Fame honorees opens in just a few weeks. Be on the lookout and help shape the next class by submitting deserving nominations. And a special thank you once again to Andrew, our Dean of the School of Management, along with our other special guests. Please accept our best wishes for a happy and healthy holiday season, everyone. Have a great new year ahead. Please drive home safely, and good night.